Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Tell Me About Your Dog. I'm Sam. I'm a CVT here in Florida. I'm a pet insurance advocate and a lover of all things senior pets. Goal of this podcast is simple. Tell me all about your dog and what makes him special. I have a very special story to share with you all today. You may have seen this video circling around the internet last year during Hurricane Milton of a dog who was tied to a pole off the interstate during hurricane evacuations. The bull terrier was found in neck-deep rainwater when state troopers came to his rescue, and he immediately received the medical care he needed. His previous owner was arrested and charged with felony aggravated animal abuse. At the time of this recording, he has been offered a plea deal of 4 years in the state prison, but has not yet taken the deal, and his next court date is scheduled for November of 2025. I had the pleasure of sitting down with Frank, the proud new dog dad of Trooper the dog, named after the state troopers who came to his rescue. Please welcome Frank and Trooper. Hi, Frank. How are you?
Hi, Sam. How are you? Thanks for having us on.
I'm great. And that must be the handsome boy Trooper down there.
This is him. He's on his favorite couch.
Aww.
TV, lounging around. He's having a great day.
Frank, we know Trooper's story, and a lot of Florida knows his story, but give us a little bit of a brief outline of Trooper and how he became part of your family.
So back in October, when the storm Milton was crushing through Florida, we saw a newscast on the television of a dog that was found tied to a pole on the side of a road up to his neck in floodwater. A Trooper Morales, stated that he was driving down the road, saw this dog peeking his head out from some water, exited his vehicle, walked over, untied him off the pole, and put him in the back of his patrol car. And that's really started the story of Trooper the dog. Trooper is named after Trooper Morales, who saved him. Trooper Morales then took him to the animal shelter in Hillsborough County. He was ultimately transferred up to the animal shelter in Leon County at the instructions of, amongst others, the governor of the state of Florida, Governor DeSantis, one of them up in Tallahassee. Me and my wife saw the newscast, and the first thing we did was looked at each other and said, we have to get him. We have to get him. We've had bull terriers. This is our 33rd year of raising only this breed.
Wow.
And we lost our Diesel, who was 16 the previous April. Looks very much like Trooper. He was white also. So I said to my wife, we have to get him. We just have to get him. So she started calling and sending emails, but they were still going through a storm. They were recuperating from a storm. So we didn't get any response for a couple weeks. And then we heard stories about 540 some odd people had applied for him. And we started to feel a little defeated, like, oh, well, I guess somebody else is going to get Trooper the dog. And then one day I'm an attorney. I was up in Pennsylvania in the federal building, and I got a call from the Leon County Animal Rescue by the director there. Her name is Lisa. And she said, Frank, I spoke to your wife, and we read all of your paperwork you sent, and we definitely want you guys to have Trooper the dog. But there's one problem. And I said, what is that? And she said, Trooper is really afraid of men. The person who tied him to a pole was a male. Apparently abused him terribly. He really recoils at the sight of a man. So we just don't know if he's going to be okay with you. I was flabbergasted to hear that, because I've been raising bull terriers for 33 years. So I said, well, how about if me and my wife jump in a car and we drive 7.5 hours to Tallahassee, and I'll show you that he will not recoil from me. She said, oh my God, that would be wonderful. So off we go, me, my wife, and Dallas, our other rescue. And Dallas was rescued in 2019 when we saw a picture of her loose on the streets of Dallas, Texas. My wife got on a Southwest airline plane on a Saturday morning and flew to Dallas, Texas, where they trapped her basically and put her on a plane and flew her back to Florida. So we named her Dallas. And
oh my
that's
gosh.
his sister. Yeah. So she's brown and white. And so we took Dallas up to Tallahassee. We stayed overnight in the hotel. We went to the animal rescue to see this dog, Trooper the dog. And when we got there, they put us in the backyard, which is a real big open space with trees and grass, and they let him out. And they said, he's not going to come near you. Don't worry. He recoils from men. So I slapped my thigh and I said, Trooper, come over here. Let me see you. And he ran over and he got under my legs.
Oh.
Excuse me. He got under my legs and he put his paws in the air and he was rolling around. And I'll never forget Lisa and Amy, the director and the assistant director, said, "Oh my God, it's like you've cast a spell over him. He never acts like that with men." And that was the beginning of the Trooper story. And they delivered him the next Friday. They delivered him to us in Parkland, Florida, which is about 7.5 hours south. With all the news stations, Good Morning America, CBS Morning Show, everybody was here to tape it and see it. And since then, here he is, Trooper the dog.
Oh my gosh, that's an incredible story. How was the transition from going from the shelter in Leon County to your home? Was that tough for him? Was it an adjustment for him in Dallas?
It was an adjustment. When we got him, he was pretty rough, right? I mean, he was still, his fur was all stained from basically lying in still water, probably for years. He was totally abused. His nails, which I thought were cut too short, were actually to the bone because he was digging, trying to escape where they had him, where the captor had him, not where the rescue had him, where the captor had him, who was abusing him. And then we noticed on his left flank, he had two, I'd say, nickel-sized lumps. And we were told they were some kind of bites because he was, living outside. And I said to my wife, we've had these dogs a long time. They're not bites. So we made an appointment at the cancer center. It took us about 3 weeks to get an appointment, but we got an appointment. And we took him over, and as soon as the doctor looked at him, he looked at me and said, "He's got cancer." Wow. I said, "Oh my God." He said, "There are mast cell tumors on his body." He said, "No, we'll go ahead and aspirate them and triple check." But he said, "I've seen enough of them in my life." So they did aspirate them, and in fact, it was cancer. So we wanted to schedule a surgery, and they were trying to schedule us about a month out. And I'm not good waiting a month to do anything. So we took him to a cancer center, surgery center in, I think it was Boynton Beach, Florida, a little bit north of us, who could do it actually on December 23rd because they were pretty slow. It was Christmas week.
Right.
So we took him in and they actually did his cancer surgery on December 23rd, removed both tumors, stitched them up, and he had huge, what starts out as a nickel-sized tumor ends up being a hole in his body the size of a baseball because they got to get all the margins.
Right.
So 2 really ugly, terrible scars on him. But that was the bad news. The good news was when we went back a couple of weeks later to have the stitches taken out, all the pathology came back good. They got all of the cancer.
Yay. Yes, that's amazing.
So he didn't need any chemotherapy. He didn't need anything. The next step of bad news was the doctor said to me, we were looking at his x-rays and we noticed that there's something in his stomach. They said, "Did you feed him the night before the surgery?" And I said, "Of course not." They said, just keep an eye on it. There's something in his stomach. We can't tell what it is. I said, "Okay." So several days later, he's outside. He throws up a piece of rubber, which was maybe, I'd say about 3 inches by 3 inches, black rubber. So I said to my wife, "I wonder if this is what they saw in his stomach. We better take him to the vet and see what's going on." So we take him to our veterinarian in Fort Lauderdale, who puts him up, CTs him, puts the CT up on the screen and says, "You're not going to believe it. I've never seen anything like this." He says, "Come and look at it." So he has a ball this big, bigger than a softball, in his belly of plastic, metal, screws, rubber, the size of a softball.
Just from eating it over all the time he was outside.
Yes. So according to the veterinarian's opinion was somebody was starving him and he was eating anything he could eat, including metal, rubber, plastic, anything he could put in his stomach because he was being starved.
Wow.
So I said to the veterinarian, what can we do? He still has 2 big 6-inch incisions on his side. I don't want to have a surgery. And he said, well, there's a surgeon in Miami who specializes in this. Let me see if I can get him on the phone. And if I can get him here, like maybe on a Saturday, that was on a Thursday. I said, great. So he says, yes, he can come this Saturday and do it. So Saturday, we go back to the vet. We meet the surgeon who was phenomenal. He said, I looked at the x-ray and I'm going to have to cut him wide open. He said, it's the size of a softball. And I said, can I just ask you to just try one time to try to remove it with an endoscopy tool and not cut him open? He's already cut wide open on all of his sides.
Yeah.
Can you just try? He said, it's just not possible to do. It's so much material. I said, I'm going to wait all day. If you could just try and let me know. If it's not, you'll come out in 5 minutes and say, no, I tried. It's not possible. So me and my wife literally wait. We were so nervous. We couldn't even stay inside the vet. So we waited in a car in the parking lot. And 4.5 hours later, he comes out and he said, I did it. I did it one piece at a time. It was 111 pieces of material in his body. It took me the whole 4.5 hours. And I did it. And he gave me a plastic sandwich bag this big of garbage that was in them.
Wow.
And they actually filmed the procedure and they actually showed it on the evening news. If you Google Trooper the dog surgery, you will see the doctor actually performing the endoscopy on him for 4.5 hours.
Wow.
Wonderful people.
4.5 hours.
4.5, I removed every single piece one at a time, and he came home perfectly fine. No side effects, nothing. So it's a miracle. The people I've met along the way have just been wonderful people who did everything they could to make his life better. And he's wonderful. He doesn't have cancer. His nails have grown in. He's healthy. He gained 10 or more pounds. And he doesn't have trash in his stomach anymore. Everybody was just wonderful. Everybody was wonderful. I said to the doctor, how could he even ingest food with something like that in his body? He said, you'd be surprised what the body can do. The food goes in and the stuff kind of moves around. The food works its way around it. He said, it's unbelievable. But everybody chipped in. This was a community effort. Everybody really got Trooper the dog up and running. And he's doing fantastic now.
That's amazing. I was just going to ask next, how is his quality of life today?
He's living the life, Trooper the dog. Everywhere I go, there's not a place I go to that every single person doesn't know him. Usually I have him, when he's out, he wears his leash and his choker with his deputized state trooper badge on it. They give him a badge. So he wears his badge. Everybody knows him. And 2 weekends ago, we went to PGA Golf Resort in West Palm. And as soon as I opened the back of the truck, the valet guy looked in the truck and looked at me and said, is that Trooper the dog? I said, yes, it is. Everyone knows Trooper the dog. Right, buddy? Everybody knows Trooper the dog.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Hi, Trooper.
He's a good boy.
Oh my gosh, he looks like he's so happy.
And, and also, we have a trainer that we use. Bull Terriers are a different breed. And I think that's why they wanted us to have them because, anybody can love a dog and anybody can raise a dog. But Bull Terriers need to be a certain kind of person. They have a different personality. They're very stubborn and they're very strong. Mm-hmm. So you really have to get control of them because they're really very strong. He's 60 plus pounds of complete muscle. He's a strong dog. So they're strong mentally, as far as their will is concerned and physically. And, that's something we dealt with. So he was dropped here on a Friday. My trainer was here Sunday morning. And my trainer straightened him out. My trainer it's, some dog trainers are really dog walkers who train dogs.
Mm-hmm.
My trainer has a master's degree in zoology, and he's trained giraffes and cheetah and lions and dogs, and he's a dog trainer.
So, and he understands a bull terrier mind.
And he knows bull terriers are their own thing. So yeah, he came every Sunday for about 2 months and really helped us a lot, because now we could just be in the house and I could say, Trooper, go to your couch. And he runs in here, dives on his couch, rolls upside down. He's great. They just need a little bit of direction. But, they do need training, bull terriers. They are stubborn and they're very big and strong. So they definitely need to have a professional person help you with them. I think so, at least. And I've been raising them since 1992.
Definitely. Yeah, I've touched on that before with previous vets who have come on the show with me too, that every dog breed has its own unique characteristics and traits. And you guys, like you said, with bull terriers, have to understand the breed and know what you're getting into when you take on a dog like that. Because anybody could have adopted Trooper just because of his story, but you and your wife had the resources and the tools and the understanding of the breed prior to his adoption to say, we can do this and we want to do this.
And our house is it's bull terrier proof. There's nothing a bull terrier can do in my house that I'm not prepared for. There's nothing on the floor. There's nothing he could reach because they're very inquisitive. They try to grab at things. So the house is bull terrier proof.
It has to be. Like you said, 65 pounds of pure muscle can do some damage.
I agree. So he's really doing well. And we had a ceremony back in, I'd say, April, where he was recognized as Parkland, Florida's top dog. So he was really happy. They gave him a medal and they gave him a big plaque naming him the top dog of Parkland. And of course, recently, the governor and his wife reached out to us and they wanted us to come up to Tallahassee so they could sign the bill. What a terrible story, because I kept trying to get up to Tallahassee so they could sign the bill. And during the course of everything, my dad passed away. And I just had so many hurdles I was going through. So finally, they contacted me back in June. And they said, Frank, we know how hard it is to get up to Tallahassee. How about if the governor and his wife Casey fly into West Palm to Big Dog Ranch and sign the bill there? Can you get there? I said, sure. It's 45 minutes from my house. They said, wonderful. So we set the whole thing up on a Wednesday, all the news stations. And what happened? Frank got COVID on Monday.
No.
So they end up having the whole bill signing, but no Trooper the dog, because Trooper the dog's family was sick. So he did miss that. He was so looking forward to meet the governor and the governor's wife, who have been the biggest supporters of him throughout this whole thing. So I promised him that right after Labor Day, we're going to get in the car, we're going to drive to Tallahassee, and we're going to go to the mansion, and he's going to see Casey, his best buddy, and Ron DeSantis, his buddy, and he's going to meet them. Right, buddy?
Amazing.
You'll meet the governor. You'll meet the governor. You'll meet him. You'll meet him. I know. I love you too.
I'm sorry about your dad's passing and that you guys have gone through some hurdles through all that. For anyone who doesn't understand or know of Trooper's Law, can you give a little bit of a brief description of what the law states?
Sure. So basically what happened was the person who abandoned him during a storm, a national emergency, instead of taking him to a rescue or a friend's house or taking him with them, whatever, actually just abandoned him by tying him to a pole. So the law states that it is now a felony in the state of Florida to abandon any dog during a natural disaster. So if you throw him out of your car, tie him to a pole, it's a felony to do that. You could take him to a friend's house. You could take him with you. You could take him to a rescue. You can do any of those things. You just can't tie him to a pole on the side of the road and forget about it.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yes, and like a lot of Floridians know, hotels and places like that who take in shelter people for shelters actually void the no dog rule because of the national restrictions of during a natural disaster. Dogs are allowed to come into hotels. They are allowed to come into places where they previously wouldn't be let in.
Of
So
course,
really, there's no reason to leave a dog behind in any natural disaster.
no reason to. And the person who abandoned him has been arrested and has been charged with a felony. Now, again, he was arrested before the law went into effect. So he's actually charged under a different law, charging him with aggravated animal abuse. So I was informed by the Hillsborough County State Attorney's Office 2 weeks ago that they actually made him an offer if he would like to plead guilty. I'm a criminal defense lawyer, so I'm used to handling some pretty severe cases. I don't do any animal abuse cases. Mm-hmm. If anybody's charged with animal fighting, animal abuse, my law firm is prohibited by me, the owner, from taking those cases. We're not permitted to take them. We don't take any child abuse cases. My office is prohibited from taking them. We take murder cases. We're just not taking a murder of a child or killing of an animal.
Or animal abuse of any kind.
Nothing. They're not allowed to. So they made him an offer to plead guilty. It's non-negotiable, they told him. He could take it or leave it. It's 4 years, Florida State Prison. That's sending a message out to the public. Do not tie your animal to the side of the road when there's a hurricane coming. That's a heavy sentence. That's a deterrent for anybody in this state who's thinking about, I'm getting out of here. Here comes a hurricane. I'm going to throw my dog out the window and tie him to a pole.
And he took that sentence?
They offered it to him. The disposition date, that's when he has to decide whether to take it or to go to trial, is in September. So by September, he has to let the court know he's either going to take it or he's going to reject it. They made it clear to me that if he rejects it, he could just go to trial.
Mm-hmm. And the trooper's law takes effect, I believe, October 1st of 2025, correct?
Correct. And that has a higher maximum, I believe. This one has a 5-year maximum. So of the 5-year maximum, they offered him a 4-year state prison sentence, which is definitely a heavy sentence, and it's definitely a deterrent for people in the state to think about before you tie your dog to a pole.
Absolutely. And there shouldn't be any lenience on that kind of criminal behavior because, like you said, there's no reason to leave behind or tie up a dog during any kind of natural disaster, especially like in Trooper's case, he was in neck deep water already. Had he been left, he would have passed. There's no way he would have survived being tied to a pole like that. So you're right. There's absolutely no reason for it. And I'm so excited for Trooper's law to go into effect. It's a law that I think a lot of people in the vet field and pet owners around the whole state have been waiting for and begging for. And Trooper has been the absolute miracle that has come along and made that law happen. And we are so excited for it and so happy for it and love that Trooper is living his best life with you guys in Parkland. So, Frank, what would you say is Trooper's kind of quirks and qualities that he has at home today? What is his personality like?
Well, my mom would say all he cares about is his dad. That's what my wife says, right? Does your mom say that? Your mom says, all you care about is your dad, right? That's all you care about is your dad.
That's a long way from a dog that didn't like men.
I didn't even know what they were referring to when they said that. That's why I said, I'll get in the car. I'll drive. I'm telling you that's not going to happen. But he follows me around. He's very upset when I'm not around, according to my wife. So we're just best friends. This is what we do all day, right? We go out for little walks. We go get the mail, right? We do little things. And
he has not left your side this entire interview.
Yeah, this is all day. This is all day. Right? What are you doing? Okay. And yeah, so he's really living a good life now. He's in here. He's in here, and we have a great environment here. We're in a brand new home, and we're in a brand new community, and he gets everything he wants. He eats sweet potato as his second course every night as his dessert. Hold on. He gets scrambled eggs on the weekend. He drinks filtered water because his dad doesn't want him to have water out of the sink. Right? You think you do okay? You think
He
you
is
know,
living the absolute dream life. He
yeah.
must have thought he's gone to heaven after the situation he was in before.
All my friends say to me, "I just want to come back as your dog. I just want to be your dog." Listen. He deserves this though. This is what he deserves.
He
Same with
does.
Dad. Our other rescue. She was like loose on the streets at 3 years old in Dallas, Texas. She came here dirty and abused, and these dogs deserve to have 5 times the life that they should have had because they have to make up for 5 years of abuse. So
Absolutely. I agree.
I really believe that. So I think that he forgot all about that guy that chained him to the pole, right, buddy? But he said one thing is certain, that when the day comes for him to be sentenced, Trooper the dog, who's the victim witness, will be in the courtroom in Tampa when he's sentenced. Right, buddy? I know your dad will be with you. Your dad will be with you. Your dad will be with you. I'm not going anywhere. I promise you, I'll be with you.
He'll make sure of it. He's not going to leave your side. Oh, Frank, I absolutely love this story. I love every step you guys have gone through to get Trooper into your family. I love the life that he's living now with you guys. He is
Thank
just
you.
living it up, and you guys are amazing for all that you've done for him and for the community and taking on his journey, being a part of his story. And from everybody in the veterinary world, we greatly thank you for that because you have been amazing through this whole process.
I've had a lot of help. I've had a lot of help from my wife and from caretakers and trainers and the community and journalists. I've had a lot of help. So this wasn't done by me alone. I had a lot of assistance.
It takes a village.
It does.
Well, Frank, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share Trooper's story. We are so happy that he's living his best life and medically doing amazing after all his surgeries and procedures. And we thank you again for everything you've done for him. Thank you so much for taking the time to do a little interview with Tell Me About Your Dog. And we hope you guys have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you in Tampa one day.
I'll be there, Sam. Thank you. Have a great
Absolutely.
day.
Take care, guys. Bye, Trooper.
Bye, Trooper. Bye,
Bye,
Trooper. I'm not going to leave. I'm staying right here. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Wow. We couldn't ask for a better ending to an awful story. Trooper's Law is effective as of October 1st, 2025, which makes it a felony to restrain or abandon an animal outside during a natural disaster. It is punishable by up to 5 years in prison with a $10,000 fine, which I still don't think is enough, but it's just my opinion. But you wouldn't leave your children behind during a natural disaster. Don't leave your pets behind. That is all for today's episode. Please be sure to follow the show on Spotify and YouTube and follow Tell Me About Your Dog podcast on Instagram, where I would love to hear more topics you want to talk about. I'll see you next time.